What's going on? My name is NFT Flenny, and today I'll be talking about something really exciting if you're a Veve and or ECOMI investor. I'll be talking about something that the CEO of Veve and ECOMI, David Yu, said in a Clubhouse AMA. And as always, this is not financial advice and will never be financial advice. I'm going to play the video in 1 second, but just to set it up, he's pretty much just talking about big time investors that are going to be coming into the NFT space. And I pretty much want to show you guys, and then I'll talk about what I think it means for Veve, ECOMI, and just NFTs in general.
There's a lot of institutions out there, they buy comic to invest. I know bankers, I know bank institution go to Comic-Con and buy up collections for in a way as an investment or safekeeping. You see Sotheby's selling comic or art. A lot of these $50 million artwork, they go to institution, they go to banks, and they go into their collection, whether in their office, their lobby, or in their vault. They are starting to emerge into the NFT. I mean, I was being contacted by some, funds out there, and there's a fund, for example, in Singapore, they raised $3 or $6 billion to buy NFT collectibles, and they're just starting to emerge into the industry we're in. And when they come in, they don't buy one copy; they want to buy as much as they can. So that's one of the reasons why the price is being driven up.
I think we all knew that something like this was going to come in the future. We all knew that we're very early in this project and that big time investors would come eventually. But hearing it straight from David Yu's mouth just makes it that much more exciting, that much more credible. So that video was pulled from Veve Clips on YouTube, and I'll make sure to drop a link to their page down in the description below. But back to what David said. You guys heard it. Billions of dollars will be flowing into the NFT space. Veve is their one-stop shop for all things digital collectibles. And honestly, I don't see why these big investors wouldn't come to Veve. They have all the top tier blue chip collectibles that have already proven to be collected and successful investments in the past. You guys tell me, where do you think some big players, some smart money, where do you think they're gonna go when it comes to choosing their NFT investments? I mean, crypto by itself, already one of the riskiest investments. NFTs are right up there with it, if not more risky. Where do you think they'll go? Do you think they'll go to some profile picture project with fill in the blank what animal it is? Or do you think they'll come to licensed premium collectibles? To me, the answer is obvious. When I talk about other NFT projects, I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on every single other project. I'm just trying to really emphasize the fact that Veve has very valuable IP on their platform, which hardly any other NFT projects do. And to me, I think that's so important, and it makes them stand out above the rest. And again, like I said, they'll be going with established brands and IP. Let's just say that Veve isn't even at the top of these investors' list of things to buy. Anyone has to admit that there's at least a couple things that people with endless money would want, such as the first Marvel comic, first appearance Todd, first appearance Superman. I mean, these are the first appearance in digital format forever. Like, of all time. I don't think a lot of people really understand that or fully grasp that concept, but when I learned that made me even more all in on Veve, because platform to platform, no matter what happens in the future, these first appearances, first editions, whatever the tag is, it will hold that forever. Even if they don't go with Veve as their main project, there are a few things that they will definitely go for, without a doubt, in my opinion. So I mean, I actually didn't know that big institutions and investors, I didn't know that they collect collectibles as investments. I know some people collected, but I didn't think it was for the investment. But that's very interesting that he said that. But I mean, it makes sense. We've seen comics, art pieces, other things do well and stand the test of time. So I mean, it totally makes sense that they would invest in collectibles, and it makes even more sense that they would invest in NFTs. Let me tell you why. One of the main selling points that I always say when I'm trying to convince someone that NFTs are the next big thing, or when I'm just explaining NFTs in general and the appeal of digital collectibles, is that they never get damaged, they never get stolen, unless you get hacked, of course, but they can't get physically stolen. Maintain their condition, you can take them anywhere, you have your whole collection in your pocket. I mean, collectibles now, think about Pokemon cards, comic books, a lot of people don't even take their stuff out of the packaging, or if they do, they put it in a case, like they don't even really use it, because any little tiny scratch or fold or anything will completely ruin the value. With NFTs, you don't have to worry about that. When it comes to keeping things safe or not getting them damaged, if you want to sell a physical collectible, you have to ship it. You have to hope it doesn't get moved around, damaged. There's so many risks, and again, like I said, having a little tiny damage on it can just ruin the value. So this makes even more sense for investors to collect NFTs because their value cannot be ruined. That makes it a much safer investment. Not only is it safer, but it's much more lucrative. I mean, again, just on Veve alone, we've seen, this crazy returns on our collectibles. These big players, they want a big piece of the pie, and it makes sense. Do you guys want to know what's even more exciting than this? Is that it's not even just the institutional investors. When we go to Immutable X, we will also be opened up to the crypto whales. As David Yu said, he didn't use these words, but he said that we'll be getting the real life whales coming in soon. But he didn't even mention the crypto whales. Once we move on to Ethereum, we will be opened up to just the whole world, the whole market, and I think these will fly off the shelves. To illustrate my point, there's a video that Taps Trades made a few weeks ago. By the way, I highly recommend his videos. He's one of the Veve YouTuber OGs. He does great research, makes great videos, great content. Highly recommend his videos and his work. But he did a video talking about a big time NFT whale whose name is DCL Blogger. He talks about his experience about noticing a Veve collectible, specifically the Marvel's Comics #1. He shares his experience and his thoughts, and I'll play the video and show you guys, and I'll talk about it afterwards.
To think you'd miss something that comes your way. Like the other day, and this kills me, but 4 days ago, Marvel are dropping comic mints, like official licensed comics on Veve.
On Veve, yeah.
Veve. And man, I don't know if you were able to pick the 1939 mint or the very first ones. But they're 20K, 15K, 20K USD. I remember looking at them and they were 8K and I was going to sweep the floor and grab like 10 of them. But I could not bring my money because they're only accepting like fiat. They're not accepting crypto. So my bank would have issues and I just couldn't do it. But I'm just like, I can't do anything but helplessly watch that increase from 4K to 8K and now it's sitting at 17K in the last 4 days. What that actually means, because 1939 is the first ever comic that Marvel released, right? And so that's the first ever NFT mint that Marvel released as a comic. And so if they go on to mint everything else from now as comic books, then that's like your Nakamoto Rare Pepe right there.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So for me, going back and looking at that post drop and analyzing it as a whole sort of investment into Marvel's future into the NFT space, I think it's pretty interesting.
You guys heard the man. He said if he could have used his crypto, if he didn't have to go through fiat, buy the gems, all that stuff, he would have swept the floor, bought like 8 or 10 Marvel Comics #1. He is not the only big time whale who is willing to drop tons of money on collectibles or comics that are on Veve. It's just really hard to do right now. So once it becomes easier, I foresee a lot of these first appearances, a lot of these first editions, I see them getting just swept up by people with money who know how valuable these truly are. With that being said, I believe that almost every collectible on the app is undervalued at this moment. Now, do I think that will always be the case? Do I think that everything that Veve ever puts out will always be valuable? No, I don't. I don't think that's true. But the reason I say I think almost everything is really undervalued right now is because almost everything we're seeing is first appearance and first edition, series, of the set, whatever it is. Since we're so brand new in this space, in this project, in this app, almost everything is a first of its kind. So eventually in the future, like I mentioned in my interview with NFT Pirates, if you haven't, by the way, go check that out. It's a great conversation. It was an awesome talk with Chad. We talked about in that interview how we're seeing tens of thousands of comics dropped every week. Imagine how many collectibles, how many things there will be to buy on the app in years. As more things get dropped, that's going to really just blow up the total supply of Veve collectibles and comics. And what I think will happen at that point is that there will be so much supply, it'll be so diluted that only the best of the best will stand out. I think the best of the best are the first appearances, the first edition, etc. Everything that's dropping at this moment in Veve, I think down the line they will be the most sought after collectibles. And I think that institutional money, big NFT whales, I think they all know that, and they're just chomping at the bit, waiting until they can spend their money, spend their crypto easily on these collectibles, and they will just sweep them up and hold them because they know the true value. Since seeing FA and FE is basically all we've known from being on this app, no matter how early you've been, how late you've come in, almost everything you've seen has been a first appearance or a first edition. That will not always be the case. We will not always be so blessed to every week have new, first, you just piling on. There will be a time when we're on season 100 of Batman Black and White, when we're on season 10 of the Unicornos. I'm not sure how many there actually are, but you get my point. The first of their kind will always be the most sought after. So we have the perfect chance to stock up on these before the rest of the world and the rest of the whales catch on and make it unattainable. Since I started Veve back in March, I think I officially made my account on March 3rd or March 4th. My whole philosophy has been buy everything you can, buy everything you can afford, go for every single drop, because there will be a time when getting drops is basically impossible, or just buying the top tier collectibles will be impossible. And if you've been on Veve, you already know that we've seen little inklings of this starting. Eventually, the user base and the hype will be so big that even getting a single drop will be so hard. So I've been stocking up all that I can. I know how good this project is. I know how much potential there is, and I know that it's just a gold mine. I've known that this could blow up any day now. It just takes the right person, the right YouTuber, get a news story. That's all it takes for this app to blow up. So I've been trying to just scramble, get what I can. We've been lucky that it hasn't blown up crazy. It's still been doing great, don't get me wrong, but hasn't blown up huge yet, because it will. It's just a matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb in the best way possible for us, and I think the unattainable time is coming, unfortunately, sooner than we think. With how fast things have been selling out, with the trajectory of Veve going from about a few thousand users in February, March to now likely 1 million by the end of this year, that growth trajectory, and on top of all that stuff, now we got David Yu talking about billions of dollars flowing into NFTs. It's looking like my prediction about things being unattainable, it's looking like it's going to be right. So if you have stocked up on collectibles, if you have a nice collection going, if you stocked up on your Supermans, your Todds, your Prides, your comics, whatever it might be, you're probably sitting pretty pretty right now. If you don't have those things and you want them, again, not financial advice, not trying to rush you, not trying to make you make a decision that you don't want to make, but just consider that this might be some of the only times that you'll be able to get these blue chip top tier collectibles. So take with that info what you will. Guys, we are sitting on one of the biggest gems that you could ever imagine. Pun intended. I just don't see how this app doesn't blow up. I don't see how these collectibles don't blow up. We're making the move to Immutable X very, very soon. Money transmitter license. If you want to learn about all the big things coming up for Veve and ECOMI, go check out my last video. I'll put a link right here, a little annotation, whatever you want to call it. Go watch that video to see all the new and upcoming exciting things coming out for Veve and ECOMI. They will be huge catalysts for the token, for the collectibles, for the app, for everything. In my opinion, guys, we are on the brink of blowing up. It's going to come sooner rather than later, and once these big whales get wind of it, or I think they already have wind of it, but once they are able to buy these collectibles, I think, man, your top tier ones, they will be gone forever. You'll need to pay a very, very, very pretty penny, which a lot of us do not have. Man, this is a great opportunity, guys. I'm so excited. I have my bags packed. You guys know that. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'll be keeping you guys updated with all the Veve and ECOMI news as it comes out. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you've been enjoying the content, because it really helps my new channel grow. With all that being said, guys, my name is NFT Flenny. I'll see you guys next time.